All right, good morning. I think we are on. Can you guys check for me to see if we are on, sisters? Yeah. All right, so my name is Mona Saga. And of course, I'm here with my sister. Oh, by the way, thank you guys for joining us. We tried to be a little early today. There was just a tiny technical difficulty. It wasn't like the 30 minutes one, thank God. So we are here. So thank you for joining us. We are doing everything we can to be here on time. So we appreciate your patience with us. So again, my name is Muna Chimisaga. Let me have my sisters introduce themselves before I take off to the topic. Sisters, please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Augusta Nosike. I'm in Richmond, Texas. Thank you for joining us.
And
And
my name is April Simon Okube, Lexington, Kentucky. Thank you very much for joining us.
thank you, sisters. We have to go a little faster today. As you all can see, we have a guest, a wonderful guest in the house. In due time, we'll be introducing him. So our topic today is what is the exact meaning of Biafra restoration? Because a lot of people, are talking about Biafra, restoring Biafra. What exactly are we talking about? So whether you call it ZAS or SWAT, Ruga, Council Republic, one fact remains the same. The Fulanis, through their military rulers and their Decree 24, took away the indigenous people's right to rule and govern themselves. The solution, therefore, must begin with pulling down that constitution. Apart from that, every other reform is cosmetic. Before, if you all can recall, before the 2019 election, when the youth agitated, they gave them not too young to run program. That program made them register for 91 different political parties and brought about people like Sowore and the Kingsley Mohalu,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Mohalu, okay?
Mhm.
So these people, they distracted and deceived us. And at the end, only APC and PDP grandfather in March. We saw that happen. It wasn't too far ago, too long ago. So it's time to match our enemies. We know they've been playing games with us for so many years with their British masters. So we know what they're doing. The funny thing is that they're doing this right in front of us. They're not hiding it. And we are watching them being distracted by funeral, by weddings, by whatever that we think we are doing. While the core thing that is going to hold us, the fabric of our lives, just people are tearing it apart, and we're deceiving ourselves. So it's time for us to match our enemy strategy for strategy, tactics for tactics, wisdom for wisdom. So today we brought a wonderful host or guest. We're excited to have Dr. Emeka Onyebuchi in the house as we discuss the strategies and tactics aimed at moving the entire region and geographical space of Nigeria towards stability and away from avoidable implosion. We don't want anarchy. We've been saying this over and over and over again. As mothers, we don't want anarchy. We are learned people. There is no reason why this transition cannot be done in an amicable manner. So before we start, we're going to watch the video that was played this week. Horrific in my expression. This video of this Fulanization agenda that we've been talking about, thank God, while our brothers and sisters are busy running for 2023 elections, deceiving themselves, going back and forth, getting contract from the Fulanis and pretending like all is well, God brought one of them, the governor of Bauchi, who came and basically leak out the secret that these people are coming to take over our land. We've heard Allah, or is that his name, if I'm saying it correctly? We've heard him call his Islamic Brotherhood to come in and get their grandfather's estate, to help them to get their grandfather's estate. And they are working, they are at work. So we have no time. When we start screaming that we have no time, some people will tell me to take it easy. We are doing some stuff. We are in a dire situation. These people are not playing. These people are not playing. So I'm going to play that video for those of you that are been working 12-hour shift and you have not been able to see it. For you to hear this directly from this man is quite upsetting. Give me 1 minute. Let me put it up. I'm even angry as I'm trying to find it, like my my blood is boiling right now. Give me 1 minute. Google is trying to make their money here.
The traditional practice of moving from one place to the other. And that is very big, an uphill task. But I think we can communicate with them more because to them, they don't have borders from Cameroon to Nigeria.
But that's
Talking
the
about the
thing.
Fulani.
How do we ensure that those who will be participating in this federal government largely funded program will be Nigerians?
In terms of the funding?
No, in terms of the operations. Operations. You said to bring in the Fulanis together.
You see, the issue of misconception, there is a lot of mistrust and misconception with regards to the Fulani man. The Fulani man is a global or an African person. He moves from the Gambia, from Senegal, and his nationality is just a Fulani man. And as a person, I may have my relations in the Cameroon, but they are also Fulani men. I have relations because from the maternal side, I'm a Fulani man. And that is why we want to educate people. A Fulani man sees himself as a Bayelsan, as somebody coming from the Niger Delta, because he speaks the Niger Delta language, which you and I don't. And of course, we would have to just take this as part of our own heritage, something that is African, and that we cannot just close the border and say the Fulani man is just a Nigerian or this. No. In most cases, the crises are precipitated by those outside Nigeria. When there is a reprisal, it is not the Fulani man within Nigeria that causes it. It is that culture of getting revenge, which is embedded in the tradition of the Fulani man, that attracts reprisal from all over the
If I understand, does that mean that those Fulani men who are maybe domiciled in other countries who move around, they can come into the country and this plan will accommodate them as well?
Yes, that's what we want to do. But it has to be done through sensitization, telling them you have to buy in the project, and you use the language, the culture itself to be able to convince them away from the mistrust where the whole system of transhumance or pastoralism is criminalized. Criminalization of pastoralism is the problem that we have with this project. And it requires people with passion who understand them and who they believe in, people like us from that part of the country, to say, yes, we have this. Because today there is no limit to the accusation that this and that has happened and it is the Fulani man who caused it. There is no tribe that is not, that you don't have this criminality in. But certainly the way and manner we do it is really exacerbating the crisis and the problems.
Will there be any form of documentation of all the people that will be,
yes, we are
taking that?
Oh, yes, that is going to give Nigeria the opportunity to really have the best in terms of documentation in the demographics. Because, as I said, the Fulani man settles anywhere he can feed his cattle. And so, if they are put in one place and they are made to understand that this is to save them and their animals, they are exposed to the vagaries of the forest and what is going on, cattle rustling, killings, and what have you. And that's why it is important for them to understand that staying in one place is good. And of course, in terms of the best practice of carrying the cows and the
let's stay with that security angle for a bit. Is there going to be this plan going to be a fenced enclosure where anyone who comes in is secured, so there is no one that can just come in from anywhere else?
No. It is going to be a colony, and a colony does not require a fence.
You will understand
it is not going to be a prison.
You will understand the reason why people are concerned because of all the security issues that have been happening over time. So if
these forests are there anyway. If you don't occupy them and create a colony out of them, they create places for the criminals. And today, that's why you have the Sambisa forest, because it is not being utilized.
But Your Excellency, much as yes, I mean, they're fantastic. We have met a lot of them who are Fulanis as well. But the concern too is, why should federal government use resources for this country to accommodate Fulani men who are not Nigerians?
You see, as I said, we are already accommodating them. Do you delineate and then really know who is not a Fulani man from Nigeria? They are all Nigerians because I said their identity, their own citizenship is Nigerian, even though we have relations all over the world, all over Africa. And so presumably they are Nigerians. I think you get me. That is the misunderstanding. They move from one place to the other, and they have relations, kith and kins in all the parts of the country, and even outside the country. So that is why our own population is fluid. You can certainly not say this is the population of Nigeria.
So these issues was raised in, these same issues were raised in NEC, and NEC admitted and accommodated all of these concerns and said, yes, we will do this.
All these issues, there were some, you see, when decisions are taken, you don't give a dissenting view. It is a decision that it should be done, and state will look at its peculiarities and what it wishes. For some of us, we think it's a very good thing. We can even say we will accommodate all the Fulanis in Bauchi if you want, and then we'll be taking their meat and their products to you, and then we'll make a lot of money.
Okay, 200 days.
Yes, but let's just transit maybe a little smoothly. How will this plan help the Bauchi meat factory?
Thank you very much. We have a Bauchi meat factory that has become comatose. We had stores and we have facilities all over the country to Lagos and Port Harcourt, but it was abandoned. And we believe we have ranches that were owned by the government. That's why I said the private sector must come. And then, of course, all the facilities, water, and the new grass that we are trying to develop using the Chinese technology that it doesn't die and then it boosts the protein content of the animals. So we believe both meat factory can serve the protein needs of the country by really preparing the meat and all the T-bones and whatever steak and that we can send to the hotels and so on and so forth. And then, of course, the animals are there. The full animal will know that he's getting value for money for his products. The only problem is the issue of making sure there is grass. Once the place dries and during the dry season, they will move. And that's why the issue of grassing and the rest comes in. And we need technology to do that.
All right.
Hello and welcome to Hard Copy on Channels Television. I'm Kaido Ikulu. But for the next...
Let's look at when the IGP...
Okay. All right, so as you guys can see in this video, this man is talking about the finalization that I just mentioned, how they want to accommodate their borders. They're already in our lands anyway. They're already there. I mean, they are not hiding it. And they're there to make sure that they get accommodated and get their cattle sold and get all these things. Their brothers and sisters, they are citizens of Nigeria. They are going to vote. They will be in our land. And what they are doing in essence is to change our demographics. So once these people are in our land, soon in the next 5 years, they will have a 5-year-old child ready to go to kindergarten. They will be voting. They will vote you out. They will rig the election. And you will be a permanent slave. You guys will be permanent slaves to these people. This is very serious. If only you guys will begin to get the spiritual eyes that we need to understand what is going on, you wouldn't even be in that country called Nigeria one more day, because your lives are endangered. To further propagate our argument today, you can hear the boldness of this guy that is telling us, hold on, I'm trying to bring the video up, that the oil in Jigawa belongs to, Bayelsa belongs to Jigawa. Oh, this is so sad. Yes. Because maybe you guys have forgotten. And thank God they keep coming out in public to tell us what they're doing. They are not hiding it, but our men are too stupid. They give them $1 million or whatever $1 million they are giving them, and they'll sell the rest of us while we wait for them to give us rice on Christmas Day.
The oil in Delta belongs to Jigawa. Yes, because we are called Nigeria today. So that's what I'm telling you. The oil belongs to us all. And we as Nigerians shall do everything possible to make sure we take that oil so that a lot of people will have the oil as well. Have the money of the oil. Anybody who thinks the oil of Bayelsa belongs to only Bayelsa is just deceiving himself. As long as we are Nigeria, we will make sure that we have uninterrupted supply of oil so that there will be uninterrupted supply of money to Jigawa State as long as we are called Nigeria. Of course, we are not.
Okay. So you heard your fellow man tell you that the stuff that belongs in your father's land is his, whether you like it or not, as long as he's a Nigerian, that the oil in Bayelsa belongs to him. What are our people doing? Oh no, they are running to Abuja to get a bag of rice. My people, we are in a dire situation. We are in a dire situation.
Even in that audience, you can hear our people laughing. Somebody just delivered a bomb to you. The audience started laughing as if it's whatever show, as if it's a night of 1,000 laughter. That is how docile our people have become. Imagine using the resources of Nigeria to settle global terrorists with their fluid population, according to Bauchi State government. Say their population is fluid. So you can't hold them. They are flowing everywhere. But they will use the resources of my people to be taking care of them, while our people, the land, they make it uninhabitable for our people, who are now refugees all over the world, in Libya, Congo, Angola, name it, anywhere evil. Some names, I was discussing with my cousin last night. He said some names, when you hear it, he said, what is the Igbo man doing in such a place? Because our land is uninhabitable, but they are bringing in their people. Nigeria has become their heritage. So, like Mr. Amona said, so far that country remains one, they will take it in its entirety. That's what they're saying. That is why they told you that keeping Nigeria as one is a tax that must be done. That's to the Fulani man. Keeping Nigeria one is the tax of the Fulani man. You that you are not Fulani, your tax will be making sure that Nigeria is not one. That's your tax. You see, they're using the political class to keep Nigeria one. They're aiding them, the political people in our land, the political people in Igbo land, the political people in Niger Delta, the political people in Yoruba land, the political people in Middle Belt, are helping them to keep Nigeria one so that it will be easy for them to conquer. So they are aiding them to conquer us. They are aiding them to conquer us and aiding them to kill us.
We need to call out their names. All those political idiots, we need to call out their names.
Yeah, go ahead.
If we continue. It's depressing. Wallahi, it's so depressing.
We are telling our people, because these people are your brothers, they are your cousins, they are your uncles. They have the task of keeping Nigeria as one so that the Fulani man can just put us in their pockets. Fulani man told you in that video, say that getting revenge is their culture. They've told you everything that you need to hear, for crying out loud. So if you offend them, even those of you that are bringing them in and giving them ID cards, if you offend them, they said that their brothers outside Nigeria will come and take revenge on your entire community. They will kill all of you. They will butcher you. They will massacre you. So we are sitting on a keg of gunpowder. The Fulani man settles anywhere, even on your ancestral land. He takes it. He does not care. You can see you can hear the finality in that man's voice. He's saying, we have decided this is what we're going to do. You don't have to do anything about it. So what are you going to do about it? We have decided, because they have power. They settle wherever they feel. They said they have in Bayelsa. They can be anywhere, and you have nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. So Fulanization project has been imposed upon Nigerians, and the opinion of Nigerians do not matter. Their opinion does not matter. I mean, it is not needed.
No.
If you refuse, they will kill you. That's what is happening in Southern Kaduna. Plateau, in one night, 500 people were killed in one night. Tell me, you Igbo man listening to me, in your village, if 500 people are killed in one night, what will remain? Their target is power. At national level, at state level, at local levels. That is why they're changing the demography fast. Yes, Sister Mona. They are changing demography fast. If we remain in Nigeria 5 more years, Imo State will produce a Fulani senator. Did you hear what I said? In next 5 years, Imo State will produce a full-born Fulani senator to represent Imo State. Ebonyi State will produce Fulani governor. I'm not prophesying, no, I'm informing you. The plans are already set. Are you aware that that Bauchi governor that was just talking is actually half Fulani, half Hausa? So whether they are half or full, they know the agenda of their fathers. So whether the mother is a Fulani or the father is a Fulani person, that child, from the day he was born or she was born, knows there's a war to be fought and there are people to be conquered. There's a land to be conquered. That is how they begin. This is exactly what happened to Bauchi people, because that area used to be Christians. What happened to them is what is going to happen to the rest of us. As we speak, the chairman of Orumba South local government, honorable or dishonorable C.Y. Okereke, with the Igwes in Orumba North local government, Anambra State, just welcome Fulani herdsmen in Orumba South and issue them ID cards to operate in Orumba South. These people are already being blackmailed. So you calling them on phone, you're wasting time. Issuing threats to them will not change anything. Fulanis are using our oil money to buy our people so that they can sell us to them, sell our land to them. Fulanis have 100-point agenda against us. They are coming from all angles. Their own is not even 8-point agenda. Their own is 100 points. Anywhere you run, they're there. So you cannot outdo them using their own strategy while living in the country that they created. Nigeria, creation of Nigeria is their 200-year-old strategy. You were still sleeping when they finished this strategy and began to execute it with Britain. You were still sleeping. You were wearing your bante up and down, looking for women to sleep with, that like my sister would say. Why they finished their plan and they're executing it. So far you continue to be inside Nigeria and operate within Nigeria, you cannot beat them in their own game. You must get a strategy that is entirely opposite what they have. That is why we said that Lower Niger Congress and MNN Alliance is our own strategy, our own only strategy. My sister is going to play another video because we are here to talk about solution and strategy. We are not part of the people that will sit down and lament. Lamentation, you do me, I do me, victim mentality. We are not. We are strategists. We sit down, analyze the problem, get to the root cause of the problem, get solution for it, and run with it. That is what we do in our private lives. That's what we do in our homes. That's what we do when we work. So what is the difference? Why can't it be done at national level? Please, my sister, go ahead.
Are going to be invited. The ones who refuse to come along will be at liberty. But the peoples of this territory, we're talking about 150 million people here, the peoples of this territory are going to work together. The institutions and the countries around the world that need to be informed have been fully informed. We are not anarchists. We're going to offer them, those in government house. We're not anarchists. We're saying, let those in government house remain in government house like South Africa did with the apartheid constitution in 1990. Those already elected can remain in the period of that discussion. But that discussion can no longer be postponed. If in the midst of that discussion of how we solve this matter, some people decide to go to election, when we have come out since 2018 to say that will be no further elections that will be tolerated under this constitution. If they choose to put up a fight to keep this constitution, they are going to be on a head-on collision with those being tormented by this constitution in this union.
And that being on a head-on collision you talked about, what will it involve if the people who control the instruments of violence said no, we will not agree to your demands? What will that head-on collision involve?
Nobody's making any demand on anybody in that manner. The governors who do not have the guns to defend their people today, let them go and get the gun from those enemies and fire at their people when they tell them that they can no longer proceed under this constitution. The quarrel now, mark it, the quarrel now is not with the government. This matter is above the head of government. This is a sovereignty dispute. This is a discussion between shareholders of the company. The government is the hired management. The process of hiring is the one you call election every 4 years. And we're saying that what the owners of the enterprise are saying at this time, governor, senator, you are the one we will hold responsible for staying up with that enemy that says we can no longer live peacefully in our spaces.
All right, thank you.
Either come and be part of how it is done, or you get ready to stay with the enemy at the time it might become something, if there's no common ground found from the point that force majeure is declared, because there will be a time frame within which discussions to resolve the matter can still happen.
All right, thank you.
After that time frame.
We thank you. Let's take a few questions from our audience.
Yes.
So that in the course of the questions, maybe you will make further clarifications. Please, right. Those who are asking questions, please, will not allow you to speak for more than 30 seconds. And then from Tony, an answer will be limited to 60 seconds. Thank you very much. We call on, first of all, Otumba Olabode Osene. You've been raising up your hand for a while. Can we take the first question from you, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Daniel. And I want to acknowledge Mr. Tony Nadi. You've done a great job in your presentation. The question number one is, push come to shove, and I can feel your pain. I can see how your blood is boiling. And I'm sure many of us on this platform will share the same, judging from the historical background of where we are today and what we need to do. Question number one is, we don't have referendum in the Constitution. I know this Constitution is, I remember also yesterday, one of the platform, I alluded to this terrible Constitution that it needs to be scrapped. It needs to be scrapped. There's no country that live successfully, happily, harmoniously in this kind of contracted Constitution. So the second question is this, and I do not want to upset anybody. Now, we've been through this before. My question is, push come to shove again, how many of us are ready to go home to the battleground? Because the way things are going, 99% of what you are narrated here, Mr. Inadi, this is not only whoever the presidents we have. These have been people like you and many other in Nigeria, Yoruba, Igbo, different people have contributed to this problem. They are beating this constitution. It is not a Fulani constitution, but they've agreed to do injustice to you and I and our children. They are the one that read most of the people you are talking about. They cannot even write their name. It has been our people the people like you and I who can read and write in the South, in the Southeast, in Southwest, and so on and so forth, who have committed these atrocities. They've agreed, to write down this kind of thing.
We hear you, sir. We hear you, sir. The problem they have now in that regard is that you had me call the names of the people who wrote the Constitution. Rotimi Williams,
yes,
and Ben Wabweze. The problem they have there is that they have put our signature in a document. We didn't say they should not write Constitution, but they say we, the people, made it. And our right, our sovereignty vests in us. It never leaves us. It can be suppressed, whether by colonial, external, or internal. But our sovereignty as belonging to us is what we are now activating. The problem was who will organize all these people to say that they cannot continue in this journey to nowhere. That has been done now. And if you talk about who is going to push come to shove, I can assure you that the war is already being unleashed. Listen to the stories of what's happening in Southern Kaduna. You think it will not come to Ibadan? You think it will not come to Lagos? It's coming. And so it's not a matter of let us be paralyzed by fear. It's gone past that, way past that. The soldiers from Yoruba land, the soldiers from Ijo land and Igbo land and Tiv land that are in that army that is being used to kill people in the manner we are seeing, you think they're just going to fold their arms and remain a part of that when they know that it is an ethnic cleansing operation that is going on? All those concerns have been long past. There's nobody that is going to wait to be killed in the manner that is now certain if nothing is done. And therefore, those who are in that danger have been organized. Nobody thought the East could be discussing with the West, nor with the Middle Belt. Everybody thought everybody will be quarreling. Ijo and Ogoni is boxing. And Shekiri cannot contain themselves in worry. All of that have been quietly undertaken. Everybody has been shown who the enemy is. There's only one enemy in the field. Let that one enemy go get more guns and overrun the 150 million people that are on one side. Let us see how it will happen. But the title deed by which they're able to come to Yoruba land and do what they're doing, what was Abiola's offense? Why is it that the port of Lagos has never been under the management of any one of you? Not one controller general of customs since independence. They said they were going to dip their Quran in the water. Of course, when they named Ahmadu Bello, when they named the street between Bonicamp and Eco Hotel Ahmadu Bello Way, at the point of independence, that was the point they dipped their Quran inside the water. But if all of you are going to sit by and allow Tinubu to take you back into slavery, let us see how it will happen. The other stakeholders will have to do something about it. But I'm sure I'm in the place where those who are in that front line of fire, both in the Middle Belt, in the Yoruba land, in the eastern part, they are prepared to not just defend themselves, they are prepared to dismantle the union of death defined by the constitution they didn't make. That's the issue here. It doesn't matter who made it before. Today, constitution is a living document. Every day, it does not satisfy those who are whose lives are being wronged and ruined by it. They have a right in exercise of their sovereignty to say, we want this out of the way. We want this adjusted. Whatever was the consideration, whatever was the motivation of Oliver Tambo, Nelson Mandela, Governor Mbeki, for rejecting apartheid constitution, that's exactly why we're rejecting this. We did not make this, and they put our signature to it that we made it. We've come forward to say we did not make it, and those who are drawing power from it, whether they come from our part or they come from elsewhere, they will have to show another source of power, not this. We are going to give a time frame. This document must go. The union it forced on us must go. We can go to a meeting and decide a new thing. If they want to make it a rifle show, then we say, let's roll. They're already unleashing war on us.
Let's take
what
the next
else
question.
do we do?
Let's take the next question, Tony, from Sina Okanlomo, please. Can you already unmuted? Can you ask your question, Sina?
Yes, sir. Tony, my brother, I'm highly impressed with you. Actually, I'm based here in South Africa. I'm in Pretoria. Yes, we have our own global movement already. And everything you are doing, in fact, I've been following for quite a very long time. In fact, a few days ago, I even sent a message to you via the Facebook. But unfortunately, I don't know whether you have it or not. But whatever you are doing now, let me tell you one thing. Yes. People are rightly behind you, most especially those of us in diaspora. We have our own movement already, and our headquarters is in Johannesburg. We have members, we have the coalition all over the world. They are in Britain, large number of people in South Africa, and in North America, Canada, everywhere. We meet every 2 weeks, every Sunday, 7 o'clock in the evening, South African time, that's when we meet. What you are discussing is what we are also discussing. And there must be end to Fulani Republic of Nigeria. And what I'm surprised about is that have we been in political coma for this long?
Yes.
Because the basis of our unity of one Nigeria was that 1969 constitution. The moment the military abrogated that constitution, the entity called Nigeria,
in
my opinion, or in everybody's opinion, does not exist anymore. Because it was clearly stated that the Nigeria as a united entity is based on that constitution. And for any other constitution to replace that, it has to be discussed. It has to be negotiated by all the region. Nobody
there has to
negotiated.
there has to be referendums. There has to be referendums for them to recommit.
Yeah. Tony, the only other thing I want to ask you is that, do we have the article of amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914? That's the question I say I would like to ask. And
let's take only the ones you've done so we can go to other people. The amalgamation documents are with us, all the documents we need to see what happened, what the British did. We had to break into their archives. Our fathers did not know what they put together and sold to them as independent. And Nohoro that was part of all the meetings didn't know when we confronted him with the documents and some of the other people who were alive at the time. So the plan we drew up for how to dismantle the cage, the prison into which we have been locked, was based on thorough research that got to the root of the matter. And so I can assure you, all of what we need in place are in place. If you recall that I came to South Africa in 2013 to the trial of Henry Oka, you recall, sir?
That's right. Yes.
Is there anything I said here today that I did not say in that courtroom in Johannesburg that day? That all the TV stations in South Africa carried live, CNN, Al Jazeera? The defunct Federation of Nigeria must now be wound down. Those who kept the carcass by brigandage and who are carrying on as if we authorize our own damnation, they now have to be face to face with that vast majority that they've been holding hostage. Then we can count how many they are. At a time they have ISIS in their midst. At the time the US is at war with ISIS, and you bring ISIS to reinforce them, they have to go get ready to deal with all of us at the same time. Not dealing with Ogoni in one small corner and dealing with Yoruba in another corner and dealing with everybody in their small corners when it's their turn to be beaten down.
All right. Thank you so much. You guys can see the amount of work that have been put into this. So we are going to go ahead and introduce our, Sister Yuki, please go ahead, our guest.
I think I'm the one introducing.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sister. I don't have my picture.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, thank you. We have a very special guest in our midst. We just want him to introduce himself. Let him give us the details about who he is. So, Mazi, please, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Greetings, our viewers, Daughters of Truth. I appreciate and commend your efforts, your energy, your enthusiasm, and the positive energy you kind of display since you started this program. My name is Emeka Onyebuchi. I live in England. I'm currently the coordinator of the Lower Niger Congress, both here in the United Kingdom and the Western Europe. You are all welcomed.
All right, thank you. You are the coordinator of the LNC in the UK, but you were also involved at the highest level in the Biafra Restoration Campaign on the platform of the IPOB up until sometime in 2017. Could you share with our audience what meaning is attached to the term Biafra Restoration in the circle of the top echelons of those waging that campaign?
Thank you very much for that question. Before I delve into that question, I would like to make kind of statements regarding what is going on now, both what we are pursuing in terms of liberation of our people and those trying to wax their energy back home, the youths that we are demonstrating and protesting against the SARS. Number one, I would like our viewers to take a minute and think of where we are as a people. I would like all of us, especially those living abroad, to think of the place of a Black man on earth. How Black man is being hooded around, being killed, being humiliated. And the reason why this is happening is because if you come to the West, you look around, you discover that there is no single country or nation that is fit for purpose that was built by Black men. If you look around, when they want to deal with the Russians, they look around Russia and see civilization. They want to deal with Chinese, they look around China, Japanese, the same thing. Even those that come from Middle East, they've got their civilization, they've got their development. But name one country that was built by Black man. There is none. So this poses a challenge to all of us to drop everything we are doing today to support this quest for the liberation of our people. We from the southern Nigeria and the Middle Belt are gifted. Heaven has given us the intellectual power, the resources to build a civilization that will be envy of the world in that space. We have lagged behind for a long time. We must pursue this now. Every little helps. Let every hands be on deck. There are things we can do. We can support what is going on back home now. We can support this project of trying to drop this toxic, constitution that is dealing with our people in a negative way. My second statement goes to the youths who are protesting back home. I would like to encourage them. I would like them to understand that between fear, or the other side of the fear, is what we are looking for, and that is freedom. But this must be organized in a very straightforward way, and the way that it will bring about a result. And that takes me to one of the subjects we want to discuss today, that will deal with the issue of strategy and tactics. Strategy being a process or procedure of arriving at an answer regarding a particular goal one wants to achieve. Because if we don't understand what we are demonstrating for, we can only demonstrate for SARS and go home. What happens to the poor infrastructural development? What happens to the enormous corruption that is bedeviling that environment? What happens to unemployment and every other thing? So while we demonstrate and protest, I would like them to think twice, to look at what we are presenting, the LNC and our partner, the MMN, to find out what we are pursuing, which dwells on how we are going to jettison that toxic constitution. It's a task that will be pursued right now. My third statement goes to the so-called politicians and the people that are tormenting our lives. I want them to realize that gone are those days when there are more people down on the street and get away with it. Think of what is going to happen to you at the end of the day. Think of your children. Think of the legacy you are going to leave behind. How many years have you got to live on this earth? Why don't you join the train of the change? Leave a positive legacy for your children. Having said that, I will delve into the questions our sister has thrown at me, and that has to do with having been with IPOB for a while before we discovered the LNC and what is going on there. Yes, I was being driven by the good of our people. And as at that time, I haven't heard anything about LNC. It was IPOB that we had all over the places. So we decided to join IPOB. We knew that it wasn't perfect. We knew that there is no strategy. We knew that there are so many things that are wrong with the process of trying to liberate our people, being championed by IPOB. But we believe that you have to be in a place in order to make a change. You have to be within. And it happened that we were among those that were in charge of affairs during that period. I happened to be the national coordinator of IPOB in the entire United Kingdom. So in other words, I wasn't a stranger to all the decision making and everything. I understood, like I said earlier on, that for us to make a positive impact and kind of bring forth a positive result, there must be a strategy. In other words, there must be a process that will culminate into a positive result. But these we are lacking. As we kind of carried on, I personally discovered that it became a one-man show, irrespective of your idea or how much you know in terms of strategy, in terms of how things could be done better. No one wants to listen. Eventually, LNC came our way, and we listened to LNC. LNC has got a plan. Just like if you want to build a house, or if you want to build any project, capital project, you start by having a conceptual idea. That is to say, we have the desire to achieve something. Then you have a kind of design. You have a planning stage. And then you have the stage or the phase you start to build or to construct. And then you have a stage, you have a handover. LNC has got everything. LNC has got what they call a framework. It's got a design. And it's got a strategy that will deliver an outcome. And these are very, very important. If you think of how things work in the West where we live, people don't suddenly get up and say they want to do this without, first of all, having an idea what they want to do and the result is going to bring about. So LNC, having got all these, helped us to kind of channel our positive energy into doing things that will help our people. And that is how I discovered and found myself in IPOB. I mean in LNC.
I see. Mm-hmm.
So having said that, my colleagues that we were together in IPOB equally tried to see if we can make a change, all to no avail. Recall that there was a time, a meeting that was arranged between LNC and Nnamdi Kanu while he was in Kuje prison, what we term today as Kuje Accord. Wow. A lot of things were agreed in that meeting, but eventually it was jettisoned and they carried on as usual. So I don't know if I've answered the question. Do you still want more clarification?
Yes, I mean, when they jettisoned, they went on with their rogue franchise. Since then, what has happened? You know, you've been part of the LNC.
A lot has happened. For instance, LNC hasn't got a framework, a strategy, and a design. Has been working extremely hard with our partner, the Movement for New Nigeria, which a lot of our listeners will recall that the Movement for New Nigeria is one of the topics that IPOB used to blackmail LNC.
Wow.
Because people were being told that LNC was after reconstructing Nigeria or making one Nigeria work. I recall when, before I joined LNC, Tony was invited to Radio Biafra London, how people were abusing him because they were told lies that LNC was interested in how to make Nigeria work. So all these things were going on behind the scene. If you think about it, it wasn't as if the people on top that were managing the affairs of IPOB never knew about the plans and the strategies that was being developed and pursued by LNC. They knew, but because of falsehood, because they were interested in some other things other than the freedom and independence of our people, they never wanted to listen. So, you know, LNC has come a long way. Over 20 years, there has been plans and programs which will culminate into the force majeure we have been announcing. Force majeure is nothing but that we are presenting to the world a kind of dispute with regards to the toxic constitution that was written by an individual and imposed on all of us. And like I said in my opening statement, all the demonstration, all the energy that is going on now should be channeled towards making sure that we pull down this toxic constitution. Because if we don't do that, if we demonstrate today about SARS, what will happen to every other thing, 68 items on exclusive list that were imposed on all of us from that constitution. So let every energy be channeled towards pulling down the constitution, and then every other thing, just like he said in the church, you know, seek ye the kingdom of heaven, and every other thing will be added unto you.
Yeah. Yeah. So my last question, could you share with our audience why you and several others who were in the highest collegiate leadership of that Biafra campaign embraced the LNC eminent strategy and roadmap for self-determination aspirations of our people of the lower Niger?
Yeah, just like I mentioned earlier on, most of us that joined LNC, we are exposed, we live in the West. So someone like me, when I examine a particular project, I want to see logic in it. I want to see what are the line of action to be taken to actualize or to kind of get the results that we are seeking or the goal. I want to see the tactics that is employed. But what was going on in IPOB was people waking up and, you know, telling others, let's go out there and protest. What are we protesting against? For instance, when I was the national coordinator, all we protested for almost 1 year was the release of Nnamdi Kanu. In other words, the pursuit for the liberation of our people was put in the code. Nobody mentioned about liberation or what we should do. It's all about how do we release Mr. Kanu that was incarcerated in the jail. So this is one of the points. The second point is that what we ask the question, what were the tactics that were being employed? Is it enough to ask people to go out there and demonstrate and get shot and get killed? Is it enough to tell people to go tweet to Trump or tweet to Obama? At the end of the day, if somebody calls us up and tells us, how do we want to do this? Have we got a kind of roadmap to show the person? The answer was no. Something actually changed my mind at some point before we left IPOB. I was commissioned to meet someone here in the UK. This person used to be in the military. Somebody linked up with him and told him that this is our intention. We want to do something back home. How will he help us? So I meet in a hotel with this guy. The first question he asked me was, could I give him the rundown of our strategy, what we want to do? What is the defined goal we want to achieve? What is the time frame? And how do we get to that goal? I was just staring at him because we had none. So he said that it is not enough for him to come out and make all the necessary contacts around the world for people that will help us. Because then it was all about, okay, if we can get one or two equipment, we can go and do one or two things there. How would that impact on a government of Nigeria that was selling 3 million barrels of oil using the proceeds to equip their military? So we're looking at everything holistically then now. I mean, as I was talking to the man. So he emphatically mentioned that we could not proceed with the plan if we haven't got a strategy that will deliver an outcome. And that was how that kind of endeavor ended. So there's so many things we considered, because what was going on then was like, go out and tweet, broadcast on the radio, go out and demonstrate. Now, there are so many things that were left undone. The question of what is the territory, what's the footprint of the area you are looking for? Is it the Biafra of 1967, or you're talking about the Biafra map of 17th century? Who could not answer that? But
Wow.
LNC has got an answer to this, because LNC adopted the ethno-linguistic map of 1885.
Correct.
Which has about 6 distinct languages of the people living in that territory. Then there is this question of, have you spoken to people you claim to belong to your Biafra, assuming you're talking about the Biafra of 1967?
Exactly.
Have you spoken to Shekiris? Have you spoken to Jaws?
No.
Have you spoken to all the ethnic nationalities that live in that enclave? No one has spoken to anybody.
Wow.
Then we're coming out of LNC. We found that LNC has taken painstakingly 6 years to move around, to speak to these people. And this culminated in, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you. She's just trying to show the map. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
The 17th century map. And the 1967 map, so that people will see what we are saying, because it's like talk of show and tell. You know, if somebody wants to restore the Biafra of 17th century, what does that really mean? You see the maps. So that's why my sister is displaying it, so that people will know whether is it practicable to restore Central African Republic, you know, southwards and all that. So that's why my sister displayed all that, so that people can read. And then the 1967 map, which is also going to be up soon, so that we'll know what we are saying. So go ahead, my brother, please. Sorry for that interruption.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, like we just mentioned, there's so many things that doesn't make sense. Number one, regarding this map, is that if you're talking about 1967 map, or Biafra of 1967, Biafra of 1967 was very, very disputed the moment it was announced. Because all the ethnic nationalities that were involved then came out and washed their hands and even joined Nigeria to fight against Biafra. So you cannot, from the comfort of your home in Enugu, Anambra, Imo, Abia, to say you're Biafran, because you cannot substantiate that claim. Even with that, as at the time Biafra was announced, our brothers across the River Niger, the Nyoma people, we are in the Midwest. The Yoruba people were in the Midwest. So you can't just wake up and say, you belong to Biafra. Because it's disputed, you cannot lay claim that the people you are asking to be Biafrans are actually Biafrans. And like our sister mentioned, if you are going by the old 17th century map, how are you going to establish your Biafra based on a map that covers the current Cameroon and Central African Republic? It's not possible. So that's the first thing I mentioned earlier on. The second one has to do with talking to all these ethnic nationalities about how we can kind of join hands together and ensure that we reach such a formation so as to present ourselves to the world the way we want to live and be governed. And that's led LNC towards the distillation of what you call Charter of Relationship. The Charter of Relationship is nothing. It's all about the Ijaw people, the Ogoni people, the Igbo people, Benin people, all of us coming together with a particular documentation that will stipulate how we're going to live as a nation, so that we can present to the world that this is how we want to live. By the way, if you go to the United Nations, they never recognize anything like Biafra. Rather, under the United Nations Charter for Self-Determination, you must be this in your space. You must have a peculiar language and culture in your space to be able to be identified as indigenous.
Exactly.
And if you think about it, Igbo people, they've got a peculiar language and culture. Ijaw people, the same thing. So they look at us as Ijaw, Igbo, Urhobo, Ishekiri. So they don't look at us as a single entity. And that is why it's become important and imperative for us to come together through a charter of relationship to let the world know that we've all come under one umbrella through this documentation to ensure that going forward, we are going to be together. So this is one of the points. The second point we examined before we joined LNC. The third point has to do with the strategy to bring down the toxic 1999 constitution. Very, very important. And this is where about 75% of the work lies.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
That is why I commend the youth that we are currently protesting. Because instead of protesting against us, we should be protesting against the jettisoning of 1999
constitution. Correct.
Once that constitution is jettisoned, according to the plans and program of LNC and our partner, the Movement for New Nigeria, we shall move back to our different formation. The Middle Belt will go back to Middle Belt area.
Mm-hmm.
The Yoruba people in the West will go back there. And then we in the Lower Niger area, the South, South, and Southeast will go back to our own space. And it's going to take two-step approach. Each of these areas should ask their people through UN-supervised referendum for recommittance In other words, are you willing to be in their so-called one Nigeria? The Yoruba people will organize their own. The people in the lower Niger area will organize their own. The middle belt will organize their own. If the answer at the end of the day is yes, we want to recommit, then we'll now go on to the second step, which is how are we going to live? Make no mistake about what we are saying now, because no matter how the politicians in Abuja claim to know it all, what we are pursuing must take these two definite steps. Otherwise, we are back to square one. So if at the end of the day, we say, yes, we want to recommit ourselves, we now sit down. It will take different kind of shape. It could be a confederalism. It could be, true federalism, whereby we kind of dish some of our resources of our whatever thing we is accrued to our own area, certain percentage to the center, just like they agreed at Lancaster House in 1950. But if at the end of the day, which our people know that our mind left Nigeria for over 50 years, and like what is going on now, Yorubas are rising up saying that they no longer want one Nigeria, that they want a situation whereby they have the Oduduwa state. Likewise, the people in the Middle Belt. So if the answer is no, we don't want to recommit to Nigeria, then the United Nations Self-Determination Charter will now take precedence. This is why it is important that we follow these things orderly and that we follow the framework that is being presented by LNC, the design and the strategy that will deliver this outcome. Because if we do it just like IPOB prescribed in the past, that we just go and do our referendum without the involvement of United Nations, it will not work. There are two places that this has happened. In Catalonia, they did it. It was not recognized. And we want our own to be recognized. So at the end of the day, these are some of the things we considered that prompted us to join LNC. So there are other things, questions on how we are going to transit from the present dispensation to having a nationhood. Because we are not anarchists. We don't want people to just wake up and start forming their own states. There is going to be a process and procedures. And that is what South Africa did when they arrived at this juncture at some point when Mandela was released. What they did was that they allowed the people that were in government to continue until we were able to finish the transition. Otherwise, if like Nigeria implodes today, there is going to be a lot of trouble because you will have 1,001 communities that want to form their own state. So it's very important that in every strategy, there is a plan on how to transit from the present dispensation to the next. Very, very important.
Thank you.
Then another issue has to do with the international community, or what they call international imperative. How do they get involved? Looking at what's happening now, are they convinced that what happened in the 60s will repeat itself? LNC and our partner, Movement for New Nigeria, worked very hard with all the regional bloc to make sure that this will not happen. First of all, those that are ready to shoot and kill our people will no longer find a space to do that because they cannot start killing people in the Middle Belt, running over Middle Belt, and killing people in Yoruba land or coming down to the east because of the new alliance that has been formed. the international community are looking at this, the stability of this region, because there is enormous resources that has been invested in this region. The oil and gas that America, UK, and the Western world have invested billions of dollars in our area. They wouldn't like to see anarchy reign. So, but looking at our plan and what we want to pursue, they'll be convinced that this is going to work. Apart from that, what happened in 1966 was that Britain supported Nigeria. It came against our people and killed about 3 million of them. This time around, a lot of things has changed because there is ISIS of West Africa. Americans are very, very interested in it. There is killing of Christians all over the places. Americans are interested in it. We've been in Washington. We've spoken to them. They are listening because one of the policies being adopted by the present regime in America is that wherever they find a kind of terrorism, they should go against them. Wherever Christians are being killed, they should go against them. So this works in our own favor. As we are discussing with them, we are discussing about appointment of an envoy, which will supervise and oversee this transition. UN, they sent a representative to Nigeria where they described Nigerian constitution as a pressure cooker. So UN is not left out. So if we have UN and the United States and partly EU looking at what is happening in Nigeria, nobody will convince us that what happened in the 60s will repeat itself. These are one of the things we considered before we joined LNC. Because LNC has thought through this. They knew that this plan will work. And we're convinced that it's going to work. And we're working tirelessly to make sure that it works.
Thank you very much, Mr. Onyebuchi.
Thank you.
We appreciate how you went in to explain it, especially with people that are shouting Biafra restoration here and there. I like the analogy somebody gave, he said, it's like when you have a dead child, your child died, your baby died. Rather than bury the child, especially when you know that you have the ability to make another baby, to give birth to another child. You can even have twins, you can have triplets. But rather than bury that child that died so that you go and meet your wife or your husband and you people make brand new babies, you are busy clutching to that old child that died, the dead child, and say, okay, my baby, my baby. What we are telling our people that so long as you continue with that dead child, hugging that dead child, you are denying yourself the opportunity to have new babies. Thank you so much, Doctor. So I'll ask you one final question. You see, when we know the role of high-level manpower in building modern nation, especially when we talk about government versus government collaboration, university versus university, department versus department collaboration. For instance, what happened in Qatar. We saw like Qatar in the mid-70s, where we know what Qatar was like in the mid-70s. But today, we have seen the transformation of a nation like Qatar. Please, our wonderful audience, we want to know, what is your vision for our new nation? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I delve into that particular question, I would like to let our audience understand that the pursuit of self-determination and pursuit of the liberation of our people or the independence of our people by LNC has got a lot of planning behind it. We understand that just like I mentioned earlier on, that shouting Biafra, Biafra will not guarantee our people freedom. Just like you mentioned, LNC understand that the analogy you gave, which is a very perfect one, which I have to reiterate, that if you are thinking of Biafra that was that existed within that short period in 1967, that is like a child which was stillborn. So the parents, instead of making arrangements to have a brand new child and naming it Biafra, they were busy consulting one herbalist, one pastor, all sorts of things. And you and I know that there is no way a herbalist or a pastor will wake up a dead child. That the most important thing is to put that energy towards having another baby. When you have this, because this name is precious to you, name that baby Biafra. This is what we are trying to tell our people, that it is a lot easy. It is not enough, go out there, demonstration, Biafra, Biafra will come. No. It's just like another analogy is like, we have a meeting in, say, London. There are different ways you can come for that meeting. And then suddenly somebody rises up and said the best way is to trek through Sahara Desert and walk through Mediterranean and come to Europe and attend the meeting. Others said, no, we're going to enter ship and then come to England and attend meeting. But we in LNC understand that the most efficient way we can do this is to get our visa, get our flight ticket, board a flight, enter a plane and fly into London, attend our meeting. So you can see that some people that want this self-determination, they are ready to stay for the next 50 years because they want to trek through Sahara Desert, through Mediterranean into Europe. Whereas we have plans that works. Let our people join hands with this plan that works. So going back to your question about Qatar's experience, is it not irony that most of the country that we began the journey with, or even before, like Malaysia, we learned palm oil produce and stuff. Our people are dying around Sahara Desert, dying in the Mediterranean because they want to go over there for better life. Because these people understand what it takes to develop. They have true leaders. Qatar and most of those countries in that area, you know, they were the people that came to Nigeria in the 70s begging Obasanjo for loan, and Obasanjo made a jest of them. What is happening today? They discovered oil. They did not took or steal all the money and bank in a bank overseas. They used it for the good of their people. What they did was that they looked around what is happening in Europe, especially England, Britain and America. They want a replica of what is happening there, if not better ones. So they went into collaboration. There was government-to-government collaboration, which was based on a kind of evidence-based policy support. There was knowledge, strategy, and sharing. There was inter-visit between government and government. How did you achieve this? How did you get to this level? Then we take it back home and work on it. Equally, there was institution versus institution. I experienced some of these things when I was doing my research. These people, they've got the money. They want money in the West, so they give them money. Then the West will train their own manpower. they will kind of collaborate with the industries too. So for instance, if they want a fast rail network, they will send their people here, they will get trained, then we take the industry that build all this infrastructure back to Qatar. They will build ultra-modern ones, the ones that will even be better than the ones you have in America and UK, because the money is there. So all these things were what they were doing. It made me shed tears, because in the midst of plenty, we are lacking. Think of all the areas, the sectors of the economy that are crying for development in that space. Is it the educational system, from the primary to university level? Think of the kind of job this sector can, kind of produce if it's harnessed properly. Think of the research institutes. People are researching on so many things at the moment. There is what they call carbon capture, utilization, and transportation. There is research in oil and gas. Oil and gas alone will take poverty out of millions and millions of our people. Because we are talking about what we do in Nigeria today is just lifting oil. Think of when we start kind of refining oil, taking the produce from refined oil, and then all the supply chains associated with it. Exportation, so many things, the millions of jobs this is going to create. Think of aviation industry. Where I live, there is a small airport called Stansted Airport. Stansted employs over 60,000. 60,000. It's got only, I think, 2 runways. They're trying to expand it now. 60,000 people, one of the smallest. And you start talking about Heathrow, has got terminal 1, 2, 3 to 5. The number of people that is engaged in, employment in this sector. You think of road network, think of agriculture, think of health.
Dr.
How many people are living in space and going over there?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot. It's a lot that we're going to, there's needed to be done. And that is why my appeal to our people, we can do better than this. We can only do this by having our own freedom, our own space. We cannot do this with a strange civilization that believe that they owe it a duty to kill those they describe as infidel to please their own God. Yorubas are very intelligent people. The people from the East are very intelligent people. Look at them all over the world. Wherever they go, they distinguish themselves. So why can we not do it back home for humanity and for Black men all over the world? So that when a Black man looks around, they say, yes, this country called Ududua, country called Biafra, was built by Black people. They'll be proud of it. They'll be ready to relocate from America to our own area because we've got the brain, we've got the resources. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The possibilities are endless as to what we can do with our new nation. It's not even something we can narrate on this show, because our people, when they have the DNA to do great things. It's just a matter of having the opportunities and I feel like people that are holding us down they know this, because they feel like as long as they are holding us down, we will never rise up to liberate Black men, or Black population, as long as they are holding these particular people down, because they are the ones that are really willing to do great things. So it's time for us to take phone calls. We have a couple of people in. There's no need to come in while we are still talking, then you get frustrated and then you have to log off. So when it's time, we'll definitely announce it and even pin our information. So you can either reach us by WhatsApp, you can reach us on Zoom, you can reach us by the phone. So call in and give us your contribution today. Please limit your questions and your contribution to today's topic. We really have to take off from where we are right now. So we want to again thank our youth that are out there protesting. This is what we should be doing, but we have to be protesting for the right thing. If we end SARS, like we keep lamenting on this show, have you ended the problems of your teachers not being paid? You know, you not being able to complete common university in 4 years. It will take you 50 years because half of the time they are not paying your teachers. Have you then ended the lack of electricity in our land? Have you ended lack of jobs for our youth? Have you ended the lack of people, many people leaving town or leaving our geographical space to go and find a better life? So we have to end the stuff that can end everything, you know, holistically, that can end everything now, the whole system, you know, following this transition that we're proposing, because again, we want to emphasize that we don't want anarchy. Okay, caller, your name and where you're calling from. Caller, your name and where you're calling from. This Apple connects each other and they start ringing. Hold on, please. I can barely hear you. Let's see. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just see that big one now. Anyway, the topic is fine. I just woke up from sleep because I was resting. So as I logged in, I saw the program. I love the topic. But please, what is another faction? Because what I always hear is IPOP. Anyway, my name is Victor. Sorry. There's no formal introduction. I stay in the north. I stay in Kaduna.
Welcome, Victor. Yes, Victor, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. I love the topic. And this is not IPOP, right?
No, this is LNC. We are discussing, you know, total liberation of our land. Yes, can you hear me? Go ahead. So do you have a question or you have a contribution, sir?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, sorry.
Yes, go ahead. What is your question or your contribution?
Hello?
Hello?
Just, you know, network and everything.
Yeah, network is bad.
Network is bad. And that is what we are saying, that it is not just end SARS, end bad network as well. So what we have to do is to end the entire thing, bring down the 1999 constitution, and everything would end.
Start again, begin again.
Right.
Yeah, end the constitution, bring down that fraudulent piece of paper that they said that we the people did, and all these things would end.
End Nigeria and begin.
End Nigeria, end everything.
Yeah.
Right. So as we were saying before, you know, these are the reasons why we don't even sleep at night, because this has to come to an end. There's no other way. As we are sitting here, our local chairman calling themselves honorables are giving our the terrorists ID to parade in our lands. As you're sitting here, they will come and give you a bag of Christmas, a bag of rice during Christmas. Maybe if you're lucky, you get a red oil. Hopefully they will not give you the one manufactured from a fuel for you to cook rice. So that's what we have reduced ourselves to. These people, they will have the impetus to call our grandmothers and our mom to come. The governor will call them to come and collect 3,000 and 1,000, 2,000 in order to massage their conscience and tell us stop people, they are doing stuff for them. Whereas these are the money that are meant to be paying our elderly on a monthly basis so they can take care of themselves. So they will take the other trillion, buy apartment like Obianoha. They have apartment here, medical center for their daughters. They have an apartment here for their children. And then as Christmas is approaching, in order to sleep at night, because they know they are stealing from our people, they will now call our grandmothers and our mothers to come and collect 3,000 naira. And our poor mothers, because they've been starved so much, they will be praying for them, not knowing that these are armed robbers that took the resources that belongs to you. Caller, your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, this is your sister.
Yes.
You're calling from Philadelphia.
Yes, what's your contribution today?
Okay, first of all, I greet you all, my wonderful sisters. I greet you, especially my brother, who took out his time as well. There is one thing that our people fail to realize. They do not appreciate people that bring out their time to come and do the needful. These are the three women that have job stuff that they are doing. They have families, but they will bring out every Saturday to come here and open the eyes of our people, to come here and help our brother Tony Nadi and the rest of the LNC important founder and partners for us to be able to have our freedom. When you look at the comment lines, you will see some people that are causing their parents and the manner of brainwashing that Nnamdi Kanu have done on our people. But what I want us to know today is that the freedom is at hand. Our youth now in Nigeria.
So far you continue to be inside Nigeria and
is to come out. Is to come out and protest. Now, this LNC stuff now that we are doing, some people will think that we're just playing games, not realizing that there is a strategy for everything. And you must follow that due process. If not, you are deceiving people and you are wasting people's time. But a lot of our people don't seem to appreciate it. All they are good at is to come and to, all manner of evil. But I want to appreciate this because we know that what you are doing is going to be benefit for each and every of us. There are others of us that live here in America. We don't care. We just get up every morning, we go to work and come back. We are so selfish. We don't want to have anything to do with any manner of freedom whatsoever. But the moment the fruit is ripe, they are the first people that will drop their useless head. I'm very angry because our people are very, very selfish. Our people are very selfish. When they see the people that are coming out, bringing out their time, that have spent with their families, rather than them to support them, they are busy costing them. Because I was busy reading the comments. Now, I want you people to know that there are people that appreciate you out there. We appreciate what is being done. We appreciate what LNC is doing. We appreciate what the Daughters of Truth is doing. And we know that Nigeria is going to end, whether they like it or not. So I want you people to know, please, keep us being strong. And our brother that came to talk to us today, we love you so much. And your God will continue to guide and protect your family and every member of your household and every other member of LNC. We are very, very grateful. I have no question to ask because I know that you people are on the right channel. We are not hijacking anything. We are not those people that are ready to hijack what other people are doing. We are not hijackers. We are strategically doing what we are supposed to do, and that is the right thing. Thank you, my sisters. Thank you. LNC. Those other LNC members that are there watching from their homes, I thank you all. I appreciate you all, wherever you are. God will guide and protect you people. Whatever evil plan that anybody will plan, that person will fall into that deep. I thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my dear. There's no giving up. Mothers don't give up on their children. You fight for your children. So whether they are bad, they are cussing, they are stealing, you fight to restore them. And that's what we're here to do, So don't be so emotional. We have passed that stage of emotionality. We are not even parading at that, functioning at that level at this point. We have grown tough skin because, again, the lives of our children are endangered and we are not here to be emotional about it. So thank you for that contribution. So we have our WhatsApp. Somebody was asking our WhatsApp information. We always, as usual, we always post our information under the topic. It has the Zoom information. It has the phone information. It has the WhatsApp information. My goodness. It has the WhatsApp information as well, so that we are not waiting to have it posted as I'm pushing too many buttons here. All right, caller, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Mary Obi.
Good morning.
I'm from United States, Michigan.
Yes, welcome, Mary. Yes. My dear, everybody, people are watching us. People are watching us from Kaduna State and all that stuff. Please.
Okay. I'm happy for what you guys are doing, and I appreciate everything. I think I have to commend you guys for having that deal to start this type of thing. And then my concern is that having seen what is happening in our land and everything, I think, first of all, I will suggest, in my good opinion, for us to unite ourselves first. Because united we stand. So all the Biafrans, we stand with one foot, not pushing us this way, pushing us this way, pushing us this way. I listened to one program yesterday, Yoruba man was doing, and his topic is Igbo, Biafra. So I think it's high time we come together and unite first. So if you guys, like this movement you guys started, can call those who have a sort of maybe it's because of maybe lack of communication or something like that. That's how I can say it. Let them together, we come together, and we now push our agenda. Because when this person is going back, this person is going front, this one sideways, I think it's very hard for it to work. I think that is my little suggestion for the meantime.
Thank you very much, my sister. I don't know. It seems you just started watching us. Coming together is actually what we stand for. But we ask ourselves, coming together to do what? You know, if you are in a family, for instance, and you're planning to farm, and you say you want to farm yam, as you know, you have to mold the yam up. You know, the sand where to put this yam, right? You mold it up. So as you're molding it up, somebody else is scattering it with the other leg. What do you think you would do to that person that is scattering what you are gathering to put the yam?
I can say that we are, let's say we are of the same parents. There must be a misunderstanding, even if you are the same mother and the same father.
No. The question I asked is a direct question. I said you have a project. Your enemy is at hand, coming to kill you. You have a project. You have a gun. Okay, let me say another. If the farming own is not working, you have gunpowder that you gathered, and you have little gunpowder. The enemy is upon you. You have little gunpowder to use and kill the enemy. Your brother came and is pouring water into the little gunpowder you have. And you know that water he's pouring inside that gunpowder, the enemy will come and destroy you. What will you be doing? Please tell our audience, practical, simple, straight, direct. What will you do to your brother?
I will leave my brother first and pursue my enemy. Then when
I said he's pouring water into gunpowder. You see the problem we have with our people, we're talking about dishonesty. Sorry, I'm not cutting you because we have short time. We're talking about dishonesty. And that's why this name, our show is Daughter of Truth. We are here for truth. If we can use our mind to critically think, we will not have problem. We don't have issue with uniting. We have said it severally. But we say we must unite around a workable vision because the enemy is upon us. If you watch this video, this show from beginning, if you have not, please go and watch others. You find out that there's a project. The enemy is at hand. We are uniting with those that are working with how we will move forward and get the enemy down. But those that want to get money from our people, while our people are dying, they are interested in making money for themselves and their private projects. We are not working with them and we are not apologizing about it. There's no apology. If you read Bible, you will find that there's no time that a nation was restored with multitude. Because in multitude, you have armed robbers. In multitude, you have stupid people. In multitude, you have people that are not ready to think. That is why most of the time, when God has a restoration project, he calls the few people that he can trust and work with. Those that will not sleep until the nation is restored. And those are the people we are calling on. They might be few, but we prefer to work with those that are ready to be honest and truthful. We don't want to work with criminals.
Across the board.
Yes, across the board. We're not working with criminals and we are bold to say it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary. All right, so people are very funny. So you have an enemy coming, somebody is pouring, your brother is pouring water on you. This is mind blowing. Do you see why we are where we are? You have your enemies are coming. Your brother is pouring water on your gunpowder. You say you will leave your brother and go and pursue the enemy with what, my sister? Do you see why you are where you are? Do you see why we are sleeping? Yeti Ali is calling all his Fulani brothers to come and take over this their grandfather's estate. We can't even be honest with simple things. How is God going to trust you with a nation of how many million people?
70.
You can't even be honest. Who are you afraid of? Are you here to serve God? Are you here to serve man? Are you here to serve humanity? Or are you here to serve your ego? Why are we finding these simple tasks so hard to do? This is disturbing because this lady is a mother. They are very dishonest in their family. They are dishonest in everything that they do. They are dishonest in the activities of daily living. Everything they do is a lie. And we, the daughters of truth, are not going to be in that camp. We are not in your village meeting. The enemies, like my sister said, they are upon us. They are on TV now, bold enough while they are swinging their chair back and forth. They are saying, yes, our people are fluid. They are going to come and take the colony and then take it over. Nigeria belongs to them, and there's nothing you can, and you are here pouring water on a gunpowder, and you're okay with that. You say you're going to pursue your enemies. Pursue your enemies with what? When the only ammunition that you have is being destroyed. Shame on you people. Shame.
Maybe she would pursue our enemies with her bare hands. And that is what we have been saying. The hypocrisy, it's
disgusting, especially when it's coming from a mother. I'm always hearing about the fathers and the men and the men. When women are still thinking this way, when being killed and a woman, a mother, is still stuck with trying to give glory to a man.
I wonder, and you are giving glory to a fraud. You are giving glory to a con artist. They are giving glory to somebody that we know, somebody that we came across, somebody that we talked to. And the only defense he has is that let our people get killed more. That once they start killing them, you will notice us. This is a man that hasn't been to the United Nations. He hasn't spoken to anybody. He hasn't met with any congressman here in the United States. Somebody was saying, oh, the other day that after all, he took picture with Senator King. Duh, Senator King is no longer in the Senate, for crying out loud. He hasn't been anywhere. He hasn't been anywhere, for crying out loud. He said they saw him in Trump's rally. Hey, if you want to go to Trump's rally now, all you need is $25. Wallahi. He hasn't been anywhere.
Permanent card, like he saw with my name printed on it. They mailed it to me.
Jesus Christ.
They were promised to get Biafra on July.
On July 12th. He didn't get it on October 12th. He didn't get it on October 12th. And you're not carrying placard that he didn't get what he promised.
My people cannot ask questions. My people cannot. We are talking about accountability. And we have promised you, we will not leave zoo and go to museum. We will not leave Nigeria with mediocrity. With mediocrity that we saw in Nigeria. We will not rebuild it. We don't care what you're called. A man, a father, a mother, whatever. We are saying, as daughters of truth, we will go to the moon, sun, and back, and make sure that our people get our children. No wonder God had to wipe up a whole generation. The generation that he moved from Egypt, trying to get them to think straight and believe him to enter the promised land. They were wasting his time. God said, I will wipe you out. He wiped the entire generation. He said, from 20 years up, you are going to die. He made that decision and they all died. It took 40 years for the last person to die. And he said, I will give it to your children. We missed this thing 1967. We missed this nation 1967. Here, we are ready to miss it again because of dishonesty.
Because of somebody's dishonesty.
Not even somebody.
Can I come in? Can I come in?
Yeah, come in.
What I want to say, I want to address our sister with an analogy. Let her look at the project we are doing now as a construction site. We want to build like 100 units of houses. There are a sequence of events that will happen. If you do one earlier than the other, there's going to be a lot of problem. And then suddenly the ground workers are digging this thing to lay down the services. Someone suddenly started mixing cement and sand with water. you know these things are not required at this time. And that if you miss it, if it hardens, it's going to be a lot of waste and a lot of problem for the project. And yes, someone is doing it. So this is the kind of thing we are experiencing now. There is a lot of delicate negotiation involved in what we are pursuing. For instance, the use of Biafra, which people are saying we're against. We're not against it, but think of it this way. We've established this strong relationship between us and our allies, regional allies, the Middle Belt, the Yorubas. If we had gone with the name Biafra, what do you think would have happened considering what transpired in the 60s? People should start thinking. They are there telling lies that these people hate Biafra, they don't want to name Biafra, they want to name Lower Niger Republic. Lower Niger, for your information, is only a platform, it's not a name of a nation. Lower Niger has agreed that at the point of independence, if all the nationalities in that entity agrees that we are going to name it Biafra, it's going to be Biafra. Lower Niger Congress is going to propose the name Biafra to the new nation. But now, we shouldn't use the name Biafra to negotiate what we are doing. And that negotiation has to do with bringing down the 1999 Constitution. These are some of the delicacies people don't understand. There is delicate nature of negotiation with our people in the West, our brothers in the West, the Yorubas. You cannot negotiate with them by cursing them and abusing them. These are the things we're telling them. So people should understand where we're coming from. We are not just going to go together with people, any Harry and Dick that comes from any direction. Remember what I said, there must be a strategy and there must be a defined goal. And then the tactics we are going to use to achieve that goal. All these things are included in LNC proposals of what we are pursuing. So let people not come here to tell us about, oh, we are brothers, we have to join hands together.
No. They want the meat cutter in the market to become a surgeon, okay? When you want to have hysterectomy, go and call Fulani Hellsman, the man where they sell you meat. Because after all, he can cut things open. Bring him to come and have surgery on you. And let's see what the outcome will be. Please stop wasting our time. Call out your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, good morning, my sisters. I must first of all appreciate you guys, your time and your efforts in pursuing this very, very important project. So I don't even know where to start. The last caller is just, she's like a personification of what majority of our people are, because it's like we're using an illusion, living through emotion. It's about emotion, sentiment, emotion. But can you sit down and analyze where will this emotion, after the illusion, what next? Okay, what is there for me? They are not thinking. Okay, so that's actually what most of our people are doing. So she's just like a personification of majority out there, which is very, very unfortunate. So at the end of the day, I still have this question to ask. Anyway, I'm not asking you, but I'm just throwing the question out there. Right now, that NSAS now or whatever is going on in Nigeria, why, if there's no hidden agenda behind this IPOB, whatever, not the kind of thing, why are they not part of it? Why is he not telling his so-called supporters or followers or worshippers to go out there and join the movement? It's because he thought his ranting and chanting is what will create change in Nigeria. But unfortunately, all these years or how long ago he has been ranting and chanting, he has not prompted any development of what is going on right now on ground. So our people need to just just unveil their whatever on their face or faces and face reality. This is a very important time, like organically, things are happening. Things are organically happening without any force. So we must take advantage of this situation. And I believe strongly that the same way God brought in this, this movement, that's how a constitutional majority will happen. I strongly believe that because this is not just going to end like that.
No.
Okay,
No.
it's not going to end and wait for Nnamdi Kanu to stand. Oh yeah, you see, Buhari, Aisha Buhari. No, it's over with him. Nobody's even looking.
October 12th. Remember October 12th?
But they never had said anything about Nnamdi Kanu's rants and all this while. Does that nonsense, it speaks volume, So, this is a very important time. So we must not focus on, people that are living on illusion and don't want to wake up and just, try to, capture the moment and run with it. So we must continue. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do to see that this constitutional majority, happen. And I must continue, and I encourage every, reasonable human being out there to do the same thing. Our people, unfortunately, my Igbo brothers and sisters, I mean, I don't know why they want everything about them to be different. And that's the problem we're having. Okay, until we came to reality that we are not different from anybody else. We're all human beings, going through the same, injustice and all that as everybody else. So we must not see ourselves as more superior or more important than anybody else. So that's just what I want to throw out there. So I thank you guys for what you're doing, your time, your energy, your effort, your resources. God will continue to replenish and bless you guys more abundantly, especially our brother, Tony Nadi. I so much, pray for him that he will continue to meet the right people, not riffraff, the right people that will, team up and get this done. Thank you, ladies, and God bless you all.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. Of course, it is what it is. Oil and water does not mix. Even if you put in the cup and shake it to your highest strength, it will never mix. So we know the truth. Those of us that do want to know the truth, and besides, there will be someone that will be always fighting for the truth. Mind you, many of our people, they've been living in lies. Even their marriage is fake. This COVID did a number on them. Their marriage is fake. The work they are going to, they can't stand it. Everything is falling apart. Somebody just told me the other day that a lot of our children born and raised here, she works in the prison system. She said they are all locked up, like they are locking other brown people up. So frustrations everywhere. There you came to America so you can be rich. You have not gotten the money, and now you're in your 60s. The so-called mansion you build at home that you abandoned your family and your children working 20, 50 million hours. You have it all locked up. Yes, you posted it on Facebook, and so what? So it's like your life is gone. And then if you're 60-something, in the next 10 years, you either have stroke, your neck will break, your diabetes will hit you, sleep apnea will give you an MI, you have vascular dementia, everything is against you. You're out of time. So stop wasting our time. Stop wasting our time with your dishonesty. This is a time to have what we call self-appraisal. Go and look at yourself and really be honest. Say, I did not get it here. I did not get it there. I did not get it here. But from here on, this is my plan. This is my strategy moving on to accomplish this. Like my brother said, if you have worked in American system here, especially in the business section, you will understand that nothing gets done without having all these features that we are talking about. And then what is the outcome that you're trying to get at the end of the day? When you send out all your objectives, what are your deliverables at the end of the day? So we are not here anymore to play with you guys. I know we are all in America, but there's species of human being. We are not at the same level. We are not at the same caliber. So don't get it twisted that you live in Houston, you live in whatever. No, it's all about how this thing works. Until you begin to educate yourself, you will be a walking fool, going in and putting in your mouth in something that will destroy you. Because I can speak English, I live in America, I have a light and electricity. Yes, I can say whatever. Go and educate yourself. There is no reason why you, with internet, with YouTube, you can go there and educate yourself and start conversing in a reasonable manner. It's no longer okay for you to work, get your nursing degree, pharmacy degree, you clock in, you clock out. You're almost like buying and selling, like one of my brothers would say. You buy, you sell, you go back out, you get your check. You're not using this. You don't know that Columbia Hospital is Columbia Hospital. You think it's in Colombia. You don't know there's a place. So many things that you don't know, but you live in an Western world. We are so through with that. So go and do your homework, people. Go and do your homework, sisters. Call us. We're almost closing down. Do not call us at the end of the show. This is the right time to call in. We have our Zoom posted. We have our WhatsApp posted. We have our phone number posted. So call in and give us your 2 cents. Sisters, do you all want to add anything before we go with our take-home points? We don't get any more calls. Unmute yourselves. Hello, is this thing still on?
Hello, we're here.
Why did you guys take so long to react?
Because we are busy responding to some people online and all that. So when you called on,
don't waste your time on that, my dear. We are not responding to miscreants.
No, some people need clarification, and I mean, we don't respond to every nitwit, you know.
Right. So go ahead. You don't want to add anything before we go with our take-home point?
Yeah, I would like to tell our youth that are out there, that are out there fighting to end SARS, that actually what we needed to end is to pull down that 1999 Constitution. We cannot overemphasize that. We cannot say it to, there's no grammar that we can use in, making you understand that if you don't pull down that Constitution, all this is just for show. So we want our youth, as you are saying, end SARS, end police brutality, and whatever, please, the main thing that needs to go is that 1999 Constitution. Because it is the 1999 Constitution that has given your leaders that are supposed to be your servants, that has given them the opportunity to do anything, any form of impunity. That Constitution covers them. Your governors can spend money, take money from the treasury, use it to finance their girlfriends. The Constitution supports it. Your senators, when we went online and Googled the highest paid senators in the world, unfortunately, the Nigerian senators are paid more than the American president. They earn about $2 million a year versus the American president. You understand? That earns about $400,000 and something a year. So my thing is that their individual constituents that they're supposed to take care of are not being taken care of. Dino Malayam, my most hated senator, I hate that guy. God forgive me. I hate him with my whole soul. The reason why I hate him is that he flaunts this thing in our faces. He tries to show you the stick of cars that he has. He tries to tell you the number of wristwatches, how expensive they are. He tries to even show you the useless artifacts he buys from China and tries to tell you how expensive that they are. So I hate that guy with my whole soul. God is going to forgive me on this one. I can't stand him. You understand? And these guys are supposed to help you. So if you do not bring down that Constitution covers them. It covers them. That Constitution makes it impossible for you to have electricity. The Constitution makes it impossible for you to graduate. 4 years, Sister Mona said, some of you read. Look, my 4 year course, I think I did it for 5 or 6 years because the first 3 years we were on strike. ASU was on strike. You understand? So this takes a lot of things from us, and we're saying put everything together, wrap it together, because once you say end SARS, they will change the name from SARS to SWAT. You see that they did that. If you say end Ruga, they will change it from cattle colony. If you say end this, they will change the name. They keep formatting, baptizing and rebaptizing names just to make you call you an idiot. So the truth about it is that let us bring down that thing that has given them the power. Like the Fulani guy was saying, that even Fulanis from Cameroon, Fulani from Mali, Sudan, these are international, that these people are international. What was that thing he said? That these people are
Nigerians.
You understand? Money that is meant for us is being used to take care of Fulanis from Cameroon, Fulanis from Niger, Fulanis from Sudan, Fulanis from Mali, everywhere. Meanwhile, you don't have electricity. You don't have a job as a graduate. You finish your school, you come out, you start, selling granola. So what's the point of you going to school in the first instance? So let us bring down that 1999 Constitution, because that is what is holding us all. Once that 1999 Constitution comes down, we would have our freedom. We would have our freedom. Then we will not ask them, hey, you want to write a new constitution? Then you have to contact us first. You understand? It has to be we, the people, writing that constitution, not some military decree 24 that was imposed upon us. So please, as you're ending SARS, be pulling down that 1999 constitution, and you see how it would work. Once that constitution is down, we are good to go. So good to go. Thank you.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you very much, our viewers. Thank you, sisters. Thank you, our guests. We appreciate this time. We want to make our people to know that we are not here to be politically correct. We are actually very, very angry because we know the danger that is ahead. There's no woman that will hear that her children are about to be exterminated and killed completely and be smiling, rubbing pancakes and trying to make sound cool. We're not sounding cool. I don't want to sound cool. If there's a way, I'll make my face to be very, very, if I make my face very, very angry and it will give me what I want, I don't even care, because I'm not here to be anybody's favorite. I want results. We have suffered enough. Our children have died enough. And we are tired of people using our pains and sorrow to make money that they're using to build their own personal kingdom. So please, like Sister Augusta has explained, pulling down 1999 Constitution is a task that we must do if we must survive. And when to do it is now. We pull it down now and go into transition, interim government, if some people want. Either one is the same thing we're talking about. That will supervise our referendum to commit or not to commit, and then talk about the assets and liabilities division and every other thing that goes to building a nation. And for people that are thinking that, oh, this thing will not work, your unbelief will not stop us. It will work. And we'll hear by the grace of God to make sure that it works. If Fulanese could have their 100-point agenda and we can see them execute it one after the other is working for them, I'm ashamed to call myself a Christian if I'm unable to provide a strategy that will counter what the enemy has put in place. And I don't do that type of Christianity. I don't do Christianity of go to church and shout and there's no result. When there's no result, I query God and communicate with him and say, give me strategy. And he answers me in my private life. Why will he not answer me at the national level? So that's why we are calling on Christians. Please, let's stop playing around with our faith. Christianity is a religion of power, in the sense that you have a personal relationship with God and he gives you wisdom and power to overcome challenges. That is what Christianity simply means. It doesn't mean going to church to do night vigil and then excommunicate all your family members because they're not attending your church. The political class, we beg you to please stop allowing the enemy to come in to destroy us. If you continue to do that, because this project is divine, eventually that enemy that you're protecting will kill you.
So increase your voice. Everybody's saying they can't hear you.
Okay. Is it better now? Do I need to repeat anything?
Go ahead and just increase your voice.
So I said we're appealing to the political class that we will not continue to wait for you forever. The enemy that you're working with, you're conniving with to kill us, we eventually kill you if you do not get out of our way. Because what we're doing is divine. This project is divine. And in this project, I've seen people that are dishonest. Something leads them into some danger. And those that are honest, the power of God, I believe, leads them into truth, finding more truth and getting solution. So we are not playing about this, and we're not here to sound politically correct. We are here because our children will die, our people will die if we don't talk. Call us Esthers of today. We say, if we perish, let's perish, but our people must survive. And we are here to ensure that the right thing is done. And we said that LNC, MNN, and NINAS, they have a proposal that we have examined as Daughters of Truth. I'm seeing that this proposal is workable. So we want our people to unite around a viable vision, and we will get home on time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And let's give our guests a little time to round it up before we go.
Yeah, thank you, viewers.
Unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, Daughters of Truth. I want to start by encouraging Nigerian youths. When I look at them, I see intelligence. I see hard work. I see determination. All they need to do now is to bring all this effort, energy together under one common purpose. And that has to do with bringing down the 1999 Constitution from where their miseries is being dished out. This is where the lack of opportunities come from. This is where the so-called quota system come from. This is why our assets, all the assets in the land were confiscated. This is where the NEPA bill that is being increased every day without supplying power comes from. This is where an imposition is made on our land in terms of who rules us by one cattle rearer in Abuja telling us that someone who was fought in election has become first. This is where the insecurity is coming from. So we need to tackle all these things holistically by bringing down the source of that misery, the 1999 Constitution. And for our people who are agitating for Biafra, we know your desires. Your desire is to have freedom. And LNC has got the strategy to deliver that desire. Join hands with LNC today. For those who are planning to unleash the military or the police on the protesters, let them remember, where are they going to run to? The eyes of the world is watching them. On that note, I thank you everyone for listening to us today. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Not only that, our people, our young ones would have seen by now that the power of the people is definitely bigger than the power of the ruling party. There's so many millions of them, of us, and there's so little number of them. So we can never relent, even with threat, because what are we living for if we cannot really have freedom? And Americans say, give me debt or give me freedom, whichever one, but I cannot be in between. I cannot have the captivity and not be free. So if you cannot give us freedom, what are we living for? All right, so I'll take home points today. If you want to go first, or should I? Okay. All right, so our take home point for us today is to remember that the 68 items in the exclusive list of 1999 Constitution has made it possible for Nigeria to be a viable entity. As long as we continue to run election under this 1999 Constitution, you will remain in bondage. The Bauchi governor, he did so well to elaborate their scheme of how they're going to take over your land, so they are not playing. The same Constitution is what allowed them to take over our land, our waterways, everything. So as you are there calling names, as you are there following your leader, whatever you guys are doing, as you are there hiding under the bridge in London, as you are there working 50 hours so that you can open your homes this Christmas and show off. Because you've been working a lot of hours, you'll come back with your dollars and your pounds and you can afford a cow, because I know you guys will buy a cow. These people will continue to run their game. So as you're protesting against these items, it might take us even 1 million years to get to each item. It might take us that long. Even that will not make any difference, because just like SARS was switched to SWAT, Ruger was changed to cattle colony, all these items, they can be baptized into new names. At the end of the day, the main intention of the Fulani agenda, which is genocide and ethnic cleansing, will not be stopped. Again, God will not come down. God, though. Don't go and say there is God, though. There is God, though. God has brought them on national TV to tell you what their agendas are. So they are not kidding. And they are working with the terrorist British government, going hand in hand. Their whole agenda is to give Fulani our land. They will have already agreed, they are business partners. Fulanis will kill us off because all they want is to take our land for their grazing, and then what they want is oil. So the oil will belong to the British enterprise, and then our land for grazing will belong to the Fulanis. And they are not going to apologize for it. They've already killed how many millions of us? 10 million in some data. And nobody's even mentioning you. You don't even count. And we're saying we have no time. So the way forward then is to match our enemies' strategy for strategy, tactics for tactics, vision for vision, until we attain our goal, which is self-determination and freedom and liberty. So we know that LNC/MNN/NINA's alliance, through the 8-point strategy document, has provided answers to all our questions regarding the present political dispensation and making of our new nations. So there is a transition plan for us to get where we are going. There's a vision. We know that the role of high-level manpower in building a modern nation, especially when we talk of government versus government, university versus university, department versus department collaboration. The good news is that God has positioned us, all of us, in different areas where we are in diaspora, to engage with these people, that as soon as this nation is restored, we will take off running. We take off running. Look at Qatar. That used to be in the mid 70s, that wasn't all that. We know where they are now. We must hasten, my people, and do the right thing. We have no more time to waste, please. It's not about you. We are not trying to be, like my sister said, we're not trying to be political correct. We're not trying to be your friend. We're saying our enemies are upon us. What do we need to do now to run? Please, we have slept enough. Since after the war, they put us in stupor, and we remain under comatose situation state since then. Time is no longer waiting for us. So please, let's take it fast. Sister, please go ahead. I'm still fighting.
Thank you, Sister Mona. Abdallah Ndibai. Ọ dị ihe arụ iri isii na asatọ ndị ọchịchị ndị Fulani tinyere na ntọala Nigeria. Ebe ha tinyere ihe arụ ihe ndị a, mụ na gị enweghị ikike ịgbanwe ya ma ọ bụ wepụ ya. Ọ bụ ihe arụ ndị a wetara ala adịghị mma n'ala Nigeria. Nke abụọ, ndị ntorobịa na ndị agbọghọbịa ndị Nigeria na-eme ngagharị iwe ka ha wepụ ma tipịakwa otu a na-akpọ SARS. Ma ndị Lower Niger Congress na-akọwa sị na ọ bụ ihe arụ iri isii na asatọ ndị ahụ dị na ntọala Nigeria bụ ihe kwutere nnu ya bụ atụrụ jiri rachakwuo eze. N'ihi na ọ bụrụ na ha wepụ SARS, tinye SWAT, ma ọ bụ wepụ Ruger, tinye cattle colony, ihe na-eme ga na-eme, ihe na-ebe ga na-ebe. Ọ gaghị eme ka ndị egbulisi ndị Fulani kwụsị ajọ nkata ha kpara ndị Nigeria. Ọ bụ nke a mere anyị jiri wee kwuo ma kwụsie ike sị na ọ bụ nnwere onwe ga-ebi ọgụ ya na anyị na ndị ogbu mmadụ ndị Fulani. anyị ga-eji akọ na uche na ịkpa nkata anaghị ehi mmiri were merie ndị iro anyị niile. Nke ikpeazụ, ndị Lower Niger Congress na ndị otu a na-akpọ Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination n'okwu nwa bekee, NINAS n'aha mkpirisi, ewepụtala atụmatụ magburu onwe ya a na-akpọ 8-point strategy document n'okwu oyibo. Atụmatụ a nwere asịsa 8 nye ajụjụ niile ndị Naịjirịa na-ajụ maka nnwere onwe na tigbuo zọgbue dị n'ime Naịjirịa. Ndewonu ndị be anyị.
Ndewo.
I should go ahead, correct? Okay, Enyarawa add Ekaro, Eku Bubwell. Àwọn take home point tá a fẹ́ sọ níwòyí ni pé 1999 constitution orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà ó ní ìyàsọ́tọ̀ 168, that is 68. And torí ìyàsọ́tọ̀ yẹn kò sí nǹkan tá a lè fi ṣe fún Nàìjíríà tó máa jẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà kó yí sí nǹkan tó dáa. Number 2, gbogbo wa la ń protest a ní pé a fẹ́ SARS, a ní pé kán dá SARS dúró. Ó yẹ ká rántí pé 1999 constitution tó ní 168 ìyàsọ́tọ̀, tá a bá ní pé kán dá SARS dúró, kí la máa ṣe? Ṣá máa àwọn ìyàsọ́tọ̀ yẹn ṣé a máa ní pé kán dá wọn dúró lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan? A lè sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. So nǹkan tá a sọ pé tá a bá tiẹ̀ ní pé ká ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, àwọn Fúlàní wọn ò ní gbà kò sí ìyàtọ̀ pé a ní pé kán dá dúró lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan. Tá a bá ní pé ká ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, rí pé SARS tá a ní pé kán ti end, wọ́n ti change, wọ́n yí padà sí SARS sí SWAT. A tún ní pé kán change Ruga, kán yí Ruga padà, wọ́n yí padà from Ruga sí cattle colony. A tún ní kó bá anything tá a bá ní pé kán dá dúró, wọ́n á yí padà sí nǹkan míì. Ṣó ti yé yín? So a ní pé a fẹ́ gbogbo kinní yìí mọ́. Àwa tí wọ́n sọ pé ìtẹ̀síwájú tá a ní láti ṣe ni pé a máa ní láti bá wọn ní strategy for strategy, ìlànà fún ìlànà, ìran fún ìran, títí tá a máa fi dé ibi tá a fẹ́ dé. Torí pé nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ni òmìnira, which is liberty or freedom or self-determination, táwọn Yorùbá ń pè ní ìpinnu ara ẹni. So àwọn LNC, MNN àti NINAS wọ́n ti papọ̀, wọ́n wá ṣe 8-point strategy, 8 point strategy tí wọ́n ti provide gbogbo documents yẹn. Wọ́n ní pé ká gbogbo kíní tí wọ́n ti ṣe kalẹ̀. À ń pé method yìí la máa ní láti follow ká fi lè ní orílẹ̀-èdè tuntun. So gbogbo kíní là ń sọ fún gbogbo wa pé pẹ̀lú EndSARS o, EndSWAT o, gbogbo tá a bá gbé 1999 constitution yẹn kalẹ̀, kò sí nǹkan tá a lè, kò sí ibi tá a lè dé pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. So gbogbo nǹkan tó yẹ ká máa sọ nígbà gbogbo ni pé kán end the 1999 constitution. Ẹ ṣé gan, thank you.
Thank you, Sister Augusta. Thank you, our people. We will see you guys next week. We do want to again extend our love to our brothers and sisters out there protesting for their rights. We just pray that you guys will protest for the right thing so that we can get our freedom. Like we said, if we understand the power that we have, we can end this nation this year. This so-called 1999 constitution can be done this year, 2021, which the first number, right, 21. So we can actually start on a clean slate. So let's use our brain power, let's use our strategies, let's decide what our outcomes will be, and then move forward and end this thing once and for all. It is the right thing to do. We are fighting a righteous cause. What we're asking for is the freedom that Britain is enjoying, is the freedom that Americans are enjoying. So it is righteous. We have to prevail in all of this. So thank you guys until we see. Did I turn it off? Until we see next week. We love you guys.